What's good, everybody out there on YouTube? This is your man Hastags dropping some hot farraga on this mic. Today we're going to be talking about Multiversus and mostly the big issue with it. Now, I've been playing Multiversus quite a lot over the past week. I put in about 10 or so hours. Listen, I have a life, and I think that Multiversus is doing a lot right. And I think it's gonna be the fighting game that ultimately changes the FGC and makes it more accepting of free-to-play titles. And on top of making it more accepting of free-to-play titles, I think it's about to usher in a new wave of fighting games. One of my biggest complaints about fighting games in general is that in comparison to other competitive gaming genres, there are very few free-to-play options that are truly compelling, if any at all. And that's why I like Multiversus. It's free to play, and on top of that, it has a low skill floor, much like Smash, with a high skill ceiling, so it appeals to the masses. And while this can also be a negative, I think one of the good things is that it's backed by a large company, so there's a lot of money getting poured into this game. The devs have very heavy involvement with the community and take community feedback to heart. The gameplay is, in general, just fun, and I'm talking about 4 solos and teams, and it's a relatively well-balanced game. Yes, it could be too early to say that, but I think that for a game this early is relatively balanced. Yes, there are some issues like Taz, Tornado, and Iron Giant, I know, but at the end of the day, I don't think most games would have came out in this polished of a state, if you understand what I mean. But the main issue with the Multiversus is the way it handles microtransactions. Now, before I move on, you can play this game completely for free without microtransactions, or without buying them. But the issue is the game heavily encourages it in a multitude of ways. It's not necessarily the most egregious implementation on the planet, but ultimately, many of the microtransactions are not worth the money. Now, in these free-to-play games where you unlock characters individually, I never feel like having all of the base roster unlocked is the route to go for anybody. And given the fact that I think Multiversus allows you to play with any character in training mode so you can test them out beforehand, it makes it even more evident that you really shouldn't buy the Founders Pack. It's not worth the money. The Founders Packs are $40 to $100 and don't offer much outside of character unlocks, which we'll come back to this, and profile cosmetics, which add very little value to the package considering how little cosmetics they have in these packs. On top of that, the amount of premium currency included in these founder packs is just intellectually disrespectful to the people who are supporting this game. Like I said before, you can try out all the characters, and while the gold grind gets longer and harder the more you play the game, it's still relatively easy to unlock the characters that you would genuinely want to play, unless you really want a character immediately. This founder pack also assumes that you want to play every character, as many characters as possible, not the ones you like. And I feel like for many people, they're not gonna play more than a few characters in the roster. And I'm speaking from personal experience. I never see myself playing Iron Giant, Rain Dog, Jake, Taz, Tom and Jerry, Superman, and many other possible picks. So why should I waste my money, my resources, just to get them when I can get them by playing the game? And again, I'm not super opposed to premium currency in free-to-play games. They have to make money somehow, but I feel the way Multiversus does this is predatory because it has a similar scaling to something like Fortnite. Fortnite V-Buck currencies don't really scale even. You get like 400 or 500 for $5. For $10, you get like 1100 or 1000. And then when you go up to $20, you get 2800. It's never really an even scale, and Multiversus follows that same practice. But I think even more egregiously, because they give you less the more you pay. You get 450 for $5. You get 1,000 for 10, and then you get 2,200 for $20. I think that's ridiculous. Many of the skins in the game are slightly less or slightly more than the price gaps. Again, something other games like Fortnite do. Though with games like Fortnite, you have skins that are actually priced at the V-Bucks currency levels, or packs that are priced at the V-Bucks currency levels. And in many cases, you can get many more cosmetics just by paying ultimately a sum of $20. Again, this isn't justifying it, it's just showing how poorly Multiversus scales. Say for instance, if you want a uncommon skin, it's 500 gleamium. So you would imagine, again, that that's $5, but you only get 450 gleamium. So now you have to pay an extra $5 to get this 500 gleamium skin. It's ridiculous. Then on top of that, the prices of some of these skins are just absolutely absurd. Some of them costing 2,000 gleamium, meaning you have to spend at least $20 just for the skin. And again, this isn't the same as other games like Fortnite, because in Fortnite, as much as they are cosmetics, they aren't tied to really any specific gameplay function of the game. Whereas in Multiversus, which is a fighting game, it's tied to a specific character. So should your character get nerfed or buffed, that is likely to affect if you play that character anymore. Many people in fighting games typically drop a character, especially if they get heavily nerfed. If that character isn't a part of the meta, you spent your $20, or wasted it more so, and now you don't even play the character. I just think that the prices for these skins are absurdly high considering the type of game Multiversus is. If it were a shooter, I feel like this would be a lot less of a conversation because of how characters are tied to gameplay in fighting games. And again, I don't have any issue with the money being tied to cosmetics. I'm glad it doesn't affect the gameplay directly. It's just that cosmetics should be cheaper considering they're tied to a component of the game that is so heavily tied to gameplay and nerfs and buffs and patches. Ultimately, I think Multiversus is gonna survive. I think it'll actually do extremely well considering that it has both a focus on solo play and team play, and it excels at both. I have some other issues with Multiversus, and there are some things I want to praise. I want to make more content on Multiversus, so let me know how you feel about this video in that comment section down below. But in the end, how do you feel about Multiversus' microtransaction system, the implementation of gleamium, the way skins are priced, and are you enjoying the game? I'm really enjoying the game, but this is kind of taking away some of my enjoyment, because one of the coolest things I think in the past about fighting games is like choosing an alternate skin or an alternate color with a character, and that being the skin or color that defines you. Just tell me how you feel in that comment section down below. Also follow your boy on Twitter at mobshatic100, where I'm almost at 400 followers on Twitter. Help your boy get to 6K. We only got about 800 more subs to get there, so any help would be highly appreciated. Remember to like this video. It pushes my channel through the algorithm. But this is me, your man Hastags. Remember, Hot Faraga turns to Cobra Zaga. Check out some of my other videos and drop a super thanks. Peace, have a good one.